guys, thanks for tuning in again today. Welcome back. It is Thursday, and today I'm going to be doing a really awesome DIY for you. We're going to be making our own personalized candles. If you usually buy your candles at Bath and Body Works, then you know that these candles usually run for at least like $11 because it's usually 2 for $22. Occasionally they raise the price to like 2 for $25 or something ridiculous. But if you want to learn how to make your own giant candles, stay tuned and keep watching. Bye. The items you're going to need for this DIY are a glass jar or whatever kind of jar you want to put the candle in. I just have this old, it used to be a candle, but we rinsed it out and we're going to be reusing it. Reuse and recycle. Good for the earth. So we have the glass jar. We have these really cute little gems that I got from Michaels. Some candle wax. These are little scented cubes that I found at Michaels when I went into the candle section. They actually have a candle section. Did you know that? These are ones that I found in the candle section. They're little scented cubes, and they have, what is this? There's the lilac, hyacinth. There's a lilac, honeysuckle, and gardenia. That's my favorite, so we're probably going to be using that one for this DIY. But so you have center blocks, wax, gems, and the jar that you're going to need. You're also going to need a pot and some fire. But do I need to show you that? No, you're going to see it when I do the DIY, so stay tuned. So the first thing you want to do is bring a pot of water to a boil. Be sure to use an old pot because it will get messy. You don't want to ruin your pretty pots. And here I am opening the wax that I purchased from Michaels. This is actually really big. So I'm going to cut that in half and only use a piece of it and save the rest for later. It was a little bit thick. I would suggest to use a bigger knife than this tiny little knife. So I actually ended up breaking it instead of trying to cut it apart. So next we're going to go ahead and cut the wax into smaller chunks because the bigger the chunk is, the longer it takes for it to melt, and you do not want to watch wax melt. Trust me, it is so boring. So I'm just cutting the wax pieces into smaller chunks so that it's easier to melt. And again into even smaller pieces because the smaller the pieces are, the easier they are to melt. Okay, so now our pieces are all cut up and we've stuffed the jar to the brim. It's okay if it's a little over the top because it's going to melt down and it's going to become liquid, so it's going to fit into the jar, don't worry. Alright, so then we're going to go ahead and place the glass jar into the water that's already been boiling a little bit, and we're just going to play the waiting game. We're going to sit and watch wax melt. In the meantime, you could do something else like decorate the jar that you're going to want to put the candles in. Oh, I almost forgot. These are the scented blocks that I found from Michaels. We're going to be putting them in the candle to make them smell really good. It actually suggests to use half, but I ended up using the whole thing because the smell was a little bit faint for me. So while the wax is melting, we're going to go ahead and decorate the jar that we're going to be putting the melted wax in to make the candle. This is one of the strips that I found from Michaels, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that into little pieces so I can wrap it around the jar. If the container you're using is already small, you can actually just take off the whole strip because it comes attached together and put it around the container. But because my jar is a little bit bigger, I had to cut it into smaller pieces to make it fit. So after I peeled it off of the sticky paper, I'm going to go ahead and start sticking that on the edge of the jar. Again, you can personalize this however you want to, and I was a little off camera because I was trying to focus to make sure the line was straight. Yeah, so just go ahead and stick that on there however you want to decorate it. I'm just going to put it on the rim, and you can see what I meant when I said I had to cut them into different strips so I can put them on the edge. So that's just what we're going to do. Okay, so now that I have the jar decorated how I want it, I'm going to go ahead and measure the candle wick and put it in the jar. You want to measure it just so it's a little bit above the edge of the jar, and you're going to put that on a stick. You're going to tie it around a stick and make sure the stick touches the jar while the bottom of the candle wick touches the bottom of the jar as well. You don't want it too long, you don't want it too short, because when you pour the wax in, you want to make sure that it's able to stand on its own while sitting on the jar. And this is this really cool soy wick that I found. Doesn't really mean anything besides that it burns a little bit longer. So if you do have that option, I would definitely suggest that you get a soy wick instead. Here I am struggling trying to put it, trying to make sure it fits in the jar perfectly. Alright, so now we're going to try to pour the hot wax into the jar. I had a little trouble trying to get this out, so just be careful and do not hurt yourself because it is very, very painful. Now the key to this, and I didn't show myself doing this, but you don't want to pour everything at once because it will melt the wick faster than you want it to. Just pour a little bit, wait for it to dry, and then pour the rest of it on top. That way it's going to be secure and it's going to dry very evenly and very smoothly. So now you're just going to go ahead and play the waiting game and watch the wax dry. Alrighty, so after a few hours, I recommend you leave this for at least a day or two before you try to light it. And here is my finished product. Alright guys, so thanks for tuning in again this week. I hope you really enjoyed the DIY. And leave a comment below if you do try it, because I would really love to see what kind of candies you guys come up with. And don't be afraid to add some color in there. It matches my decor, so I just kind of left it like simple and white. And so yeah, leave a comment below if you did try it, and also don't forget to thumbs up so I can see that you guys do like the DIYs, and if not, just let me know what you would like to see. Hope to see you again next Thursday. Bye guys.